Today, our topic is the art of accepting death, Stoic wisdom. Life is a journey, and every journey has an end. Death is a part of life, something we all must face, yet it is often the most feared and misunderstood. The Stoics, ancient philosophers like Seneca, Epictetus, and Marcus Aurelius, taught that accepting death is not about being morbid or giving up on life. Instead, it is about understanding the nature of existence and finding freedom in that understanding. Stoicism teaches us that death is not an enemy, but a natural process. And by embracing this truth, we can live more fully, more courageously, and more peacefully. The first thing to understand is that death is inevitable. No matter who you are, where you live, or what you do, death comes for everyone. The Stoics remind us that worrying about something we cannot change is a waste of time and energy. Imagine spending your life in constant fear of the end. How much of your precious time would be lost to fear and anxiety? Instead, Stoicism encourages us to focus on what we can control: our thoughts, our actions, and our attitudes. By accepting death as a natural part of life, we free ourselves from the fear that can hold us back. One of the key teachings of Stoicism is the idea of Memento Mori, which means remember that you must die. This might sound grim, but it is actually a powerful tool for living a meaningful life. When we remember that our time is limited, we are more likely to appreciate the present moment. We stop taking things for granted: the people we love, the beauty of nature, the simple joys of everyday life. Memento Mori is not about dwelling on death. It is about using the awareness of death to fuel our gratitude and our sense of purpose. The Stoics also teach us that death is not something to be feared because it is beyond our control. We cannot choose when or how we will die, but we can choose how we live. Marcus Aurelius, a Roman emperor and Stoic philosopher, wrote in his Meditations, "Do not act as if you were going to live 10,000 years. Death hangs over you. While you live, while it is in your power, be good." This is a reminder to live with integrity and kindness, not because we fear punishment or seek reward, but because it is the right way to live. When we focus on being good and doing good, we find meaning and fulfillment, and the fear of death loses its power over us. Another important Stoic idea is that death is not the worst thing that can happen to us. In fact, the Stoics believe that there are far worse things, like living a life without virtue, without purpose, or without self-respect. Epictetus, a former slave who became a great teacher, said, "It is not death that a man should fear, but he should fear never beginning to live." This means that the real tragedy is not dying, but failing to live a life true to our values and principles. When we focus on living well, death becomes less frightening because we know we have done our best with the time we have. Stoicism also teaches us to see death as a transformation rather than an end. The Stoics believed in a rational and orderly universe where everything is interconnected. Just as a leaf falls from a tree and becomes part of the soil, nourishing new life, our existence is part of a larger cycle. Seneca wrote, "What is death? Either a transition or an end. I am not afraid of ceasing to be, for if I cease to be, I will not know it. And if I transition to another state, I will still exist, just in a different form." This perspective can bring comfort, especially to those who fear the unknown. Death is not the end of everything. It is simply a change, a return to the universe from which we came. Accepting death also helps us deal with loss and grief. When someone we love dies, it is natural to feel sadness and pain. But the Stoics remind us that grief is a reflection of our love and connection to that person. Instead of trying to avoid or suppress these feelings, we can honor them as a testament to the importance of the relationship. At the same time, Stoicism encourages us to find peace in the knowledge that death is a part of life. Marcus Aurelius wrote, "Loss is nothing else but change, and change is nature's delight." This does not mean we should not mourn, but it does mean we can find solace in the natural order of things. One of the most practical ways to apply Stoic wisdom about death is to practice detachment. This does not mean becoming cold or indifferent. Instead, it means recognizing that everything in life is temporary: our possessions, our relationships, even our own bodies. The Stoics teach us to appreciate what we have without clinging to it too tightly. When we accept that nothing lasts forever, we can enjoy life more fully without being consumed by fear or greed. Detachment also helps us face challenges and setbacks with resilience. If we lose something or someone, we can remind ourselves that change is a part of life, and we have the strength to adapt and move forward. Another Stoic practice is to reflect on the impermanence of life regularly. This might involve thinking about your own mortality each day, or contemplating the lives of those who came before you. The goal is not to become pessimistic, but to cultivate a sense of humility and perspective. When we realize how small our time on earth is compared to the vastness of history and the universe, we are less likely to get caught up in petty concerns or ego-driven desires. Instead, we can focus on what truly matters: living with virtue, contributing to the well-being of others, and finding joy in the present moment. Stoicism also teaches us that death can be a source of motivation. When we accept that our time is limited, we are more likely to take action and pursue our goals. Procrastination and hesitation often come from the illusion that we have all the time in the world. But when we remember that life is short, we are inspired to make the most of every day. Seneca wrote, "You act like mortals in all that you fear, and like immortals in all that you desire." This is a reminder that we often waste time on things that do not matter, while neglecting what is truly important. By embracing the reality of death, we can live with greater intention and purpose. Finally, Stoicism teaches us that accepting death is an act of courage. It takes strength to face the unknown, to let go of control, and to trust in the natural order of things. But this courage brings freedom. When we are no longer afraid of death, we are free to live authentically, to take risks, and to embrace life fully. As Epictetus said, "It is not things that disturb us, but our judgments about things." By changing our perspective on death, we can transform it from a source of fear into a source of wisdom and inspiration. In conclusion, the art of accepting death is not about giving up or becoming passive. It is about embracing the reality of life and finding freedom in that acceptance. Stoicism teaches us that death is not something to be feared, but a natural part of existence. By remembering our mortality, practicing detachment, and focusing on living with virtue and purpose, we can overcome the fear of death and live more fully. As Marcus Aurelius wrote, "Do every act of your life as if it were your last." This is the essence of Stoic wisdom: to live with awareness, gratitude, and courage, knowing that every moment is precious and that death is not the end, but a part of the journey.